Are you looking for your ideal audience and you think that talking to everybody in this great room is actually going to do it? You're building a faith based business and you really want to reach your ideal audience, and you think that you're not going to do it if you niche down? Today is the day for you. See, so you did all the things that you were supposed to do, right? You built the faith based business with this huge open heart. You created what feels like a giant great room where absolutely everybody is welcome. You're standing at the door just waiting to serve because you just know your business is going to be on fire. But if you're being totally honest, it feels like you're shouting into a crowded, noisy ballroom and your voice is just getting swallowed up. Or you might even think that you're in this big ocean and your voice is barely making a ripple. What if the secret to being brave enough? I'm going to say that one again. The secret is being brave enough and faithful enough to actually not be for everybody. Hmm. It's the great room illusion. See, this whole great room idea, it sounds so appealing, isn't it? It comes with from a good place. Yeah, it does. It's a desire to share your gifts and your passion with as many people as possible. Sounds good, right? We figure that that a net that we cast out there, the more fish we're going to get. You know, hey, cast your net on the other side and nets were about to break. We're thinking that. But what really happens, honestly, in business as well as in ministry, a wide net gets tangled. It snags a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but nothing of real substance. Let me share with you what God shared with me today. So I'm going to preach first, and then I'm going to get practical if that's okay with you. Now, you can skip it and skip right to the practical if you like, but I suspect that you're going to want to hear this one. It comes from Luke chapter number 14, verses 16 through 24. Let me read it for you. Then said he unto them, a certain man made a great supper and bade many. I'm reading King James Version. And he sent his servant at supper time to say to them that were bidden, come, for all things are now ready. And they all with one consent began to make excuse. The first said to him, I have bought a piece of ground, and I must needs go and see it. I pray thee, have me excused. And another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I go to prove them. I pray thee, have me excused. And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come. So that servant came and showed his Lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, go out quickly into the streets and lanes of the city, and bring in hither the poor and the maimed and the halt and the blind. And the servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room. Still more to come, right? He says, there is room. And the Lord, verse 23, said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. For I say unto you, that none of those men which were bidden shall taste of my supper. Now, let me just give you a little bit of background, and I'm going to tell you exactly what the Lord told me today. A little bit of background is this. When they did a supper back in those days, it wasn't something that we just cook up, that take you 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or you might be cooking for half a day or so. It was a long process, and they really took the time. So when he bid them to come and he said, come on in, he had prepared they knew ahead of time. It's like you have that save the date. We're going to have it. The webinar is going to be on such and such a day, and I want you to come, or the retreat is going to be on this particular day, and I need you to come on in. I'm preparing for you. I know how many people are coming because you already told me that you were going to be there. But what happened, this is what the Lord showed me, is the excuses started coming. There are three type of people that are going to give you excuses. First one says, I bought too much. I'm broke. I can't afford your services because I've been out there. He says, what did he say? Let me just back it up. Hold up. I'm going to give you Bible today. He said, I bought a piece of ground and I need to go see it. I bought too much. I'm broke. I can't afford it. So if I can't afford it, even though it's going to do good for me, it's going to be great business for me, it's going to solve my problem, I can't do it because I already spent too much money on other things. All right, I'm broke. Broke, busted, and disgusted. It's going to stay that way. Second one says, I bought 5 yoke of oxen and I need to go prove them. You know what that is? I bought all these other packages and or I've gone to all these other free challenges and downloaded all these PDFs. I'm going to try to do it yourself, DIY it. I'm going to try to get all of my stuff. I'm going to try all of that out and then I'll get back to you. In other words, I'm getting ready to waste my time. Excuses. You got to have answers for excuses, though. I'm just telling you, objections really mean that they're supposed to be your client. They just don't know it yet and they're not ready. You got to help them get over that. Um, yeah. All right. The third one, I married a wife and I can't come. Now, marriage is good when it's good. But when you're married to a discourager, one that doesn't see your purpose and is not an encouragement to you, it is going to hinder you from business. So those that were invited initially, they had excuses. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the support. That's what the Lord showed me. Now, when the servant was then told to go out and find those that were poor, those that did not have the skills to achieve abundance, in other words, they did not have the right system, they're going to need you. They're going to come. Those that are maimed, that means they have been injured and they're probably cynical because they've tried other things and it didn't work, but they need your spirit. They need the Holy Spirit. They need the Spirit of God in the midst of it. They don't want the sleazy tactics or anything like that. They're looking for real answers. They will come. Those that are halt, those that cannot walk. In other words, they've been trying to do some things, but they had the wrong strategy. They need to come. And then those that are blind, those that can't see what really is hindering them, they're lacking direction. They will come. And so he said, then go and compel them. Those that we've just identified, compel others, them, the ones that you're called to, compel them to come so that you can serve them appropriately. See, my story, and maybe this was just for me, and I don't think it was just for me. So I want you to take it where you are with who you're supposed to serve, that there are going to be those people that will give you excuses of why they are not going to utilize your program. And some might seem legitimate, but there's a reason. It all goes back to no time, no money. I don't see the results, the outcome. I don't have the encouragement to do that. So I've got to get over that hump. But there are going to be those that really will jump on what you have to offer because you solve the problem that they need. You have the right spirit. You've got the right strategy and you're willing to give them direction. My story, you've heard. I've helped so many and I've done so much. And so those of you that are like me, that are polymess, it makes it very difficult to niche down to just one thing. But I'm going to encourage you to start with the one thing and then build it. In my story, I was helping so many people in so many different areas, and I saw them get the results. And I kept saying to the Lord, I said, I'm not understanding why this is not working. And I told this story before if you've heard it. And he said, I did not realize the weight that I carried. I did not realize all of the gifts and the talents that he had given me, the treasure that I had in these earthen vessels. And I'm looking for a room that had everything there because I didn't want the verbiage. I didn't want the sleazy tactics. I didn't want all of that stuff. But I knew that people needed the technology. I knew they needed to speak on stages if that was them, or they needed to be able to speak appropriately. Their voice needed to be heard. They needed to solve that problem. They needed the right strategy, but they needed God in the middle of all of it. And he said to me, you didn't find the room because I called you to build it. Yeah. So back to the great room illusion. See, sometimes when we're trying to be the jack of all trades, we end up being a master of none. We're not always called to do everything. We're not always talented to do everything. But here's the deal. The faith-based market isn't one giant blob. Let me say that one again. It's not just one giant blob. It is a huge, diverse ecosystem of different denominations, ages, cultures, and spiritual walks. Everybody's on their own journey. So trying to create a one size fits all kind of content for all of those audiences is like trying to cook one meal for a potluck for 1,000 people. You just end up with something bland and nobody really loves it because some people don't like the salt, some people like the spicy. It just doesn't work. So that's that great room illusion, believing that an open door policy automatically leads to a full house. In reality, it just creates a confusing, chaotic space where the people who truly need you, they need what you have. They can't even hear you over the noise. It's too loud in the room. It echoes. They can't find you because you look and sound just like everybody else. So can we get a little bit practical here? I want to give you a biblical model for niching down. So in from a biblical perspective, just like I read that story, there's some exclusions that need to take place. Some people will excuse themselves, but there's some exclusions that you need to take place. It isn't about exclusion for being exclusive sake. It's about focus for the sake of impact. Who are you going to help? See, when you try to serve everyone, you can only offer them a shallow cup of water. Let that sit for a moment. Just a little bit more. Barely quench their thirst. Doesn't even quench their thirst. Shallow cup. But when you focus on a specific group of people, you can dig a well so deep that it becomes a source of living water for that community. And I'm telling you, my mind is going back to the woman at the well in John 4. Mm. If you knew who it was that was asking you for water, you would ask me for living water. And I think you want that. See, the Bible tells us that we were created for good works. But as one person, we're not created for every good work. We want the God thing, right? See, your unique story, your specific struggles, your hard won victories, the things that you've overcome, they all have equipped you to minister to a particular person with a particular problem. Your business is a calling. Pause, take a moment, put a pin in that one. Your business is a calling. That means that your marketing is a part of that calling too. See, this is the way that is going to change everything for you. You aren't just selling something. You're fulfilling a mandate to serve the specific people that God has prepared for you. I'm going to say that one for the people in the back. I'm going to say that one again. You are not just selling something. You are fulfilling a mandate to serve the specific people that God has prepared for you. So niching down isn't some cold business strategy. It's an act of obedience. It's focus. It's saying, okay, God, I'm going to focus my energy right where you have put that fire in my heart. Ready? So there's a power to holy exclusion, if you would. You ready? When we finally get brave enough to do this and say, my business is for this person, which means that it's not for that person, something amazing happens. Your message, which was once a whisper in a hurricane, becomes a clear trumpet call, if you would, that cuts right through the noise. The right person hears you. They're magnetically drawn to you. They know that you were for them. Why do they know that? Because you're speaking their language. You know their issues. We're going to get to that. Suddenly, you're not just a faith-based coach. You are the coach for Christian moms with young kids who want to build a business from home without selling out their family values. You're not just another Christian financial planner. You're the planner who helps millennial couples use biblical principles to crush their debt so that they can give with wild generosity. See the difference? That kind of clarity is magnetic. And we all want to have magnetic attraction. We don't want to work so hard. So you can finally stop trying to convince the skeptics and start connecting with the people who have been waiting for you. Yeah. Remember the dining room that we talked about last week? Having those right connections, connecting deeper. Yeah. So how do we do this holy exclusion? 3 steps. And I'm going to give them to you quick. So write them down. First, it builds trust. This is the reason why you have it. Trust is the currency of any real relationship, and it's everything in a faith-based business. Number 2, it creates a deep community. See, they stop being just customers for you. They start becoming a community united by shared values. And third, it makes your marketing so much easier. You know exactly where your people hang out, what they're searching for online, and how to talk to them. That's the benefit of holy exclusion. Now you're probably saying, well, how am I going to do this? How in the world do I find my specific group of people? How, I don't even know it, but I know it can feel huge. I know it really can. That's exactly why I created a free resource just for you. Am I done? This one is the 5 biggest mistakes that are keeping you overwhelmed and unprofitable as a female entrepreneur. And I'm telling you, there's some juiciness inside of this because even when you're feeling down and out, it uplifts you. I've got links to other YouTube groupings or playlists in here, whether you need prayer, whether you need something specific, it's in there. Believe me, just go get it. I'll make sure it's in the description below. But it's at my website, chontahaynes.com/mistake. So go get that. But let me just jump right in. I want to keep going. How do you then find your God-given niche? I told you I was going to get practical. So I'm done with the preaching side and I'm going to get practical with you right now. First, you have to get clear on your mission and your core values. That's right. You heard me. Before you know your who that you serve, you have to know why you're doing it. So what biblical principles are the absolute non-negotiables for your business? What's the ultimate transformation that you hope to provide? Write those down. Make it plain. This becomes the filter for every decision that you're going to make. Second, find your unique sweet spot where your passion, oh, I just love this, and your expertise meet. In other words, if you don't have the experience or the expertise in an area, you're not called out for that. Not just yet. Okay. So here's what you do. You ask yourself at least these 3 questions. What topics could you talk about for hours? You absolutely love it. What problems do you genuinely love solving for people? Okay. And then what have you personally walked through? See, God doesn't waste any of your pain. I promise you, He won't waste it. From the engineering that I did at Georgia Tech through the theological that I've done at Grace and Truth Christian University, I'm telling you, He's wasted nothing of mine. Because your testimony, your struggles, the mountains that you have climbed, that's often where your most powerful ministry lies. That's where your business intersects. That's a massive clue for you. Are you passionate about, say, biblical hospitality or even biblical finance in my case? Maybe your niche can then be helping Christian women make their homes a center for fellowship, or you want to make sure that every believer gets out of debt. Did you fight your way out of debt? And that might be something that you were doing. Or just are you broke? Are you just tired of the charlatans, like in my case, that are trying to fleece the flock? Okay, it could be faith-based financial coaching for you. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. But number 3, do some recon work. So once you have the idea, you have to see if it has legs, if it can walk. So start listening. Who are you already attracting? What questions do they keep asking you? And then go hang out kind of quietly in other groups, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, on Instagram, on TikTok, any forums, and any social media where your potential audience is going to gather. Listen to their language, listen to their frustrations, listen to their dreams, their aspirations. The goal is to know their needs so well that whatever content that you then create and you offer feels like a direct answer to their prayers. Okay? And then number 4, test it and tweak it. That's right. Test it and tweak it. You don't have to get it right 100% the first time. Done is better than perfect, but I just need you to start. Start creating content for the niche that you've identified. Talk directly to them. Use their words, solve their problems, see who leans in, and that feedback is then going to be pure gold. It isn't a one and done decision. It's a journey of discovery that you can get to walk out with God and your community. I know we did avatar interviews when I first started in the coaching. And that was after you come up with, okay, this is what I think they're working on. And I've gone through a detail sheet and trying to figure out who this person is. But I then had to go ask, hey, can I get your advice on something? And ask them if that's what they want. Let me say this. You were not called to be a faint echo in a giant noisy room, that great room effect. No. You were called to be a distinct voice, a clear light for a specific group of people who are out there right now waiting for someone exactly like you. The fear of niching down is really just a fear of being small. But what if it's not about being small, but it's about being deep? What if it's not about limitation, but it's about being a powerful, God-honoring focus that you have to meet their specific need? You were really called for such a time as this. So embracing your niche is an act of faith. It's you trusting that God's plan for your business is better than your own scattered efforts. It's about being a good steward of a unique story and gifts that He has given you. When you get brave enough to exclude, you give your ideal audience the incredible gift of inclusion. You create a place where they feel seen, understood, and served. You build a business that doesn't just make an income, but makes an eternal impact. You make $1 and the difference. Preaching and practical. We're in the great room today. And I know everybody isn't invited. But those that are, we're going deep together. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I say. If that resonated with you today, do 2 quick things for me. First, hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of the content about building a faith-based business on purpose. And then second, I love to invite you to join my Business Builder or Queenpreneur Accelerator programs. One is group coaching, the other is mentorship. But the first step is the Destiny Accelerator Strategy Call. You can go to my website. I promise you, it's 30 minutes of me talking with you, figuring out where you are and what is going to be the best direction for you. I'm going to give you some direction. Go to my website, ChontaHaynes.com/destiny. You can get that. I've been called the one-stop shop for faith-based coaches, speakers, and authors ready to 5x their income and impact. As the Destiny Accelerator, I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs build scalable brands with strategy, systems, and spirit. I'm Dr. Chonta Haynes. I'm cooking up something special next week. That's right, it's off to the kitchen we go as we continue building your faith-based business one room at a time. Thanks for watching, and now go serve the people that you were made for. God bless.